W Talk, where we bring inspiring women from all walks of life. Catch us live at RTM Click and also TRAXXfm's official Facebook page every Friday and be inspired. 11:15 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Only on TRAXXfm, your favorite station.
Experience the excitement right here on TRAXXfm.
Hey, this is TRAXXfm's Trax Momentum with me, Diyana, and it is time for us to get into W Talk. Today, it's up close with Miss World Malaysia 2022. I have Wenanita Angang, Miss World Malaysia 2022, in the studio with me. Hello!
Hello, Diyana.
How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very good. I'm very excited,
Good.
actually, because you would be the first queen I'm speaking to.
Wow,
Yeah.
what an honor.
Well, it's a lot of fun to be able to, have a chat with you, find out more about your experiences, and because I managed to have a read of, of who you are, like through the news and everything, and some of the things that you advocated. In fact, some of the questions that you answered throughout the pageant itself, it was really, really fascinating to see where you are going. In fact, it's quite cool. I think you're super cool too. But for the benefit of our listeners, just to, for them to get to know you a little bit better, because they might be tuning in on Facebook at TRAXXfm Official. You could do that if you want to. Otherwise, you can just tweet at us with the hashtag TRAXXfm. Ask her any questions if you like. But Wenanita, if it's possible, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. Okay, so for those who may not know about me at all, my name is Wenanita Angang. I'm the current Miss World Malaysia 2022. I was crowned in August of last year. I have yet to compete. I was born and raised in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah.
Woo!
Born and bred. And I moved here about a decade ago to continue my studies. So I graduated in Bachelor of Science in Information Systems and currently work as a data scientist.
Wow.
So yeah, I am big in promoting women to be in STEM. And I am also an advocate for the autistic children, currently only for the hospital, the only mental hospital in Sabah, which is the Bukit Padang Hospital.
I see.
But we will discuss it later, I suppose, where I am planning on growing it to in West Malaysia as well.
Wow. Okay. There's so much to dive into. Evidently, this Wenanita, you are very, very intelligent. No joke kind of situation. I mean, really, really no joke situation.
I try.
Yes. But yes, you are very sharp. That's exactly like the first thing that I felt when you first entered the studio. I was like, this girl, this lady, she's a sharp one. It's
been a work in progress.
Yeah. Well, tell us about that work in progress and tell us about that journey on how you participated. Because you actually actively participated in a few pageants before entering Miss World Miss World Malaysia 2022. Tell us a little bit more about that, like how you got started.
Okay, so I would like to start off by saying, if it wasn't because of my journey of in pageantry before competing in the national pageant for Miss World Malaysia 2022, I would not have won the title. It built me, it shaped me, because I started when I was 20 years old in my very first pageant, thinking that I wasn't going to go far in that pageant itself.
Right.
And I ended up as first runner-up, which is great as a first-timer, right? Yeah. And that's when my passion was sparked. And I continued because I wanted to challenge myself to try bigger and maybe better pageants and to see where it can lead me to. And I have never regretted a single moment, because it has led me to being here right now in TRAXXfm, as Miss World Malaysia 2022.
Diyana, who's never been, interviewed a queen before in my entire life.
Exactly. First time for the both of us.
Exactly. But either way, though, I mean, actually, I'm very, very curious. So you said that you started when you were age 20. Why enter pageantry, actually? Like, how did that even happen for you?
To be honest, it was always in the back of my mind to try pageantry since I was young, just because my mother was a beauty queen as well.
Wow.
But I never saw myself as being able to go as far as she did, because she did win a national title in 1990, if I'm not mistaken. Don't take my word for it. But yeah, I always thought about it because I always looked up to her previous experiences. But to be honest, it was the people who encouraged me that really pushed me, and I credit them for it, because if it wasn't for them, I would not have had enough courage to compete in my first pageant. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm really, really glad that you got inspired to do that, and then you actually go around to doing that. Today happens to be Make a Dream Come True Day, actually. So I hope that if you're tuning in right now, and if you ever feel like motivated or driven to want to achieve something, doesn't matter how long it actually takes. It's the fact that you end up doing it and you keep trying at it. It's really fantastic. And now you're crowned Miss World Malaysia 2022, which, lo and behold, we are here. How did you feel? Like, did you expect to go all the way for this competition? Like, to manage to actually win the crown?
So, having been in the pageant industry for the past 6 years, I think I've developed the mentality of not focusing on the wrong things.
Okay.
And to me, one of these wrong things is coming into a competition thinking that all you want to do is win, right? I've lost more than once before. And so I've learned from this experiences of asking myself, why am I doing this in the first place? Why do I want to compete? What is the larger purpose?
Yep.
Right? So coming into Miss World Malaysia, I did a lot of soul searching, if you can call it that, before competing, asking myself, where do I want to take this title if I was crowned as Miss World Malaysia 2022? So my main focus throughout the whole competition, that whole one intense week, was to just do my best on the daily basis. And if the judges feel as if I am well suited to carry that title with pride, then it will always be for me. You can never deny someone's destiny.
Of course, absolutely. And setting that intention is very, very crucial.
Yes.
Before you do anything at all, it's like putting it out there in the universe. This is what I'm going for, but this is, you're still allowing things to come to you, because it will take you places where you never know you will end up being. At the end of the day, look at you now. You are here. You are Miss World Malaysia 2022. You haven't had the big competition yet, obviously.
Correct.
Yes, it's the Miss World. When is the competition actually?
It has not been announced yet. I hope that it will be announced soon, but I'm hoping that it will happen before mid of this year. And that would be a whole new journey, a whole new story. So maybe you can invite me after that again.
For sure. No, but it is a different ball game when it comes to being on the international level of things, because throughout the years of me growing up, I could only dream of looking at the beautiful wonderful contestants in the pageants, and I'm just pretending that my neck is as long as a swan, and I'm also waving, going like, okay, I can pretend to be a queen myself. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of these women are very, very intelligent. They're very charismatic, but we are definitely not going to discard your talents and your capabilities because your spontaneous answer to the last question of Miss World Malaysia 2022 about the most inconvenient truth of climate change in the competition was basically brilliant. So what triggered you to answer that question?
Okay, so going back to what you said earlier, in this century, I don't think it's enough to just be physically attractive anymore. It requires a woman to be the whole essence of the modern woman, right? So in answering that question, just like any other question that I answer, I always try to make it relatable, because there's no point of intelligently answering a question if no one can relate to it.
Of course.
Right? So in answering that question, because of the setting that I was in Sabah. I was surrounded by mostly Sabahans, right? And I tried to incorporate what we go through on a daily basis. So regardless of what the question was going to be, that was exactly how I was going to answer it. So I don't think that answer only implicates Sabahans. I think heat wave, we feel it everywhere now, right? So for as long as there are people who can relate to my answer, that would, reach my goal.
Definitely. It is, I think you're touching the realistic expectation of what people are feeling. And that is a very community aspect, which I'm sure is the perfect representation for Miss World Malaysia. But okay, we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to find out more about the competition that is to come and what are the preparations that Wenanita will be experiencing. So if you are tuning in right now, you can feel free to keep in touch with us with the hashtag TRAXXfm via Twitter Twitter, or you could say hello to us on Facebook at TRAXXfm Official. We are live right now, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Experience the excitement right here. Right here on TRAXXfm.
W Talk, where we bring inspiring women from all walks of life. Catch us live at RTM Click and also TRAXXfm's official Facebook page every Friday and be inspired. 11:15 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Only on TRAXXfm, your favorite station.
Keep the fire burning.
Experience the excitement right here. Right here on TRAXXfm.
Welcome back to TRAXXfm. This is Trax Momentum with me, Diyana. On W Talk, we are chatting with Wenanita Angang, Miss World Malaysia 2022. Welcome back, my dear.
Thank you.
It is super amazing to just get to know you and your experiences, what you had gone through over the past, you said you were 26, 26.
Correct. 26.
26 years old. If you don't mind me revealing that age. Sorry, I did not ask. I apologize in advance. But, you've done this since you were 20 years old. Mm-hmm. It's been about 6 years plus.
Correct.
And it has been really, really great to understand more of how, what you are, how you are, and what process you had to, what process you had to go through. So now you will represent Malaysia in the Miss World contest. Mm-hmm. Share with us the preparations, because as Malaysians, we are going to continue to root for you. We will obviously follow your journey online, but tell us the nitty-gritties. What happens during the preparation.
So you want to know what happens behind closed doors. Yeah. Okay. So I think a lot of the preparation is already expected, the intensity of the preparation, of course, because you are carrying a whole nation on the international competition. So the preparation actually breaks down to a lot of different segments. For example, we have, say, the talent competition. So of course, I would have to prepare for the talent competition, which I can reveal that I will be dancing a traditional contemporary dance. Ooh. Okay, a Sabahan one. And so that is one of the preparation. Of course, we have others like the BWAP, which is Beauty with a Purpose project, which is the project that we would have to bring and present to the judges on the international stage. So for me, of course, it's the autistic children and how hippotherapy can help them and to create a sustainable program for them. And besides that, we also have maybe the preparation for the head-to-head challenge, which is basically like a debate between the representatives of the country in speaking up of certain social issues. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is 3 out of a few. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm sure that does sound quite a crash course, I suppose. And within a period of how long do you get to do your training, their preparation?
Until the competition, which is not announced yet.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, okay. Let's hope. I'm sure you are quite prepared, but let's hope it's not too soon that it makes you feel.
That's very true.
Yes,
but there's nothing I can do about that.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed. But anyways, this is not your first time to compete at international level. You had participated in a competition in Batumi, Georgia. Now, for the benefit of our listeners, when we try something new for ourselves, when we do it in a smaller scale, we feel a sense of pressure on wanting to achieve something really well. You take it to the next level where all eyes are watching you at the end of the day. How do you deal with the pressure of competition? And what more, this time around, it's an even bigger scale with the Miss World pageant. Share us your thoughts on that.
Okay, so as the saying goes, pressure creates diamond, and I didn't just think about it. It wasn't something that I mentally told myself that pressure creates diamond. I had to live it. I have to believe it. Right? So in the beginning, of course, I was not that good in handling pressure, and that's fine. It's part of the process. But over time, I started learning how to understand myself, how I handle different situations. And over time, I started looking at pressure as something that is positive. One of my predecessors, Miss World Malaysia 2015, Bryn Lovett, she recently even told me, she was giving some advices, and towards the end, I told her, I said, no pressure, and she said, no, pressure is good. And I need people to keep reminding me that as well. Because especially on this scale right now, like you said, it's huge, right? You tend to sometimes derail from your positive mentality, and that's fine. That just makes you human. But that support system around you is just as important. So that's why I always say choose the right people to surround yourself with as well.
Because at the end of the day, it's no longer just about you anymore and your small group of people, small community. It's a bigger aspect, and everyone has different thoughts, different opinions, and that's when if anything were to hit the fan, so to speak, then you would feel all the more pressured within yourself. I think what I'd love to ask next is, how did you eventually get to know yourself to gain that kind of confidence within you to deal with that pressure?
Okay, so for me, it takes a lot of, I like to call it soul searching. It's a lot of me just sitting alone and thinking about what type of person I am. Because it's very easy to get lost in translation or situations where you tend to end up comparing yourself to others. Because, for example, right, my predecessors, they've all done very well. But I have come to the realization that I can never be like them if I don't use my own unique characteristics and attributes to my own advantage. So it takes a lot of soul searching to just sit down, think about what you are personally good at, and use them to your advantage and strategize around that.
And I take it your team is who's in your team at the moment? Let's a little bit of a shout out kind of thing.
Sure. Okay. So I would like to start off with my team back in Sabah. This is the team that started with me since I was nothing in the pageant industry, right? There's December Theo, which is the designer that always works with me. There's my makeup artist, Camelia Mike, who is not just my makeup artist, but my emotional support system. And then I probably should have started off with this. My mom, she's going to be so salty that I didn't say her first. Okay, so my mom, I like to call her my little advisor. She's always with me. But now that I live in KL and I work in KL, so of course I have my team here too. So right here, you can see to the left, I know the audience can.
Yes.
It's my manager. So she is under the organization that, had the competition as well. Her name is Nadia.
Hello, Nadia.
And then there's another one, Jaren Thomas. So I think he's listening to this right now. He was very excited that I was invited here. And of course, I have a lot of designers that I work with and makeup artists that I work with. I can't name them one by one because I know I have limited time. But I just want to give a shout out to each and every one of you that has been a part of my journey from the beginning till this day. And I know for the next few months, and I hope years to come, I love and respect each one of you, and I would not be the person that I am today without your contribution, be as little and small as you think it is.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure,
it takes a village for a lot of things.
Very
happen,
correct.
And
yes,
you have a whole lot of villages like coming together.
Yes,
making sure we get you to the place that you need to
go.
For
the country.
Yes, that's right. So I suppose for anyone who's listening in right now, when it comes to when a queen presents herself to the world, there is this air of confidence and also charisma and just some sort of it's just an air of pizzazz where you just get so mesmerized by it. And for those who happen to not be that great when it comes to public speaking, for that matter, can you share with us some tips on how one overcomes stage fright?
Okay, so in the beginning of my career, I did have a little bit of a stage fright.
Okay.
But I try to focus on why I want to do it, right? Like I mentioned earlier. To be honest, I continuously competed in pageants because I remember the feeling I have when I get on stage. Because that is your platform for people to look at you and listen to you, right? So when you have a larger purpose, everything else that makes you nervous, everything else that makes you think twice about doing something, it becomes very small. So try to focus on your main objective of why you want to overcome stage fright instead. And I can tell you it's not easy. It's always going to be a work in progress. Till this day, like 10 minutes ago, I'll be honest, I still had some nervousness before coming in here. But like I said, you have to focus on, the platform that you are on. And I'm grateful to the people that are listening right now. And I hope in some way I can inspire you as well.
Yep, always set an intention why you are here today, that you want to talk about. What are you planning on talking about? So it is really great that you said that. But then if I were to ask you specifically, the preparation wise, did you go for classes, or do you have mentors? Do you have tutors or anything?
So for the advantage of those who might not be able to maybe spend some money for classes, for mentors, I can confidently tell you that there are so many avenues that you can learn from now. As simple as YouTube. Like I just learned from free YouTube videos on how to improve myself. And like I said, you have to focus on what you're good at and work around that.
Okay, resourceful to the maximum. We got to try doing that if we want to try to improve ourselves as people. After all, the mission in life, for myself anyways, to constantly be a learned creature. YouTube is the way to go. But don't fall down the rabbit hole, because you can learn all sorts of weird things.
Yes, more knowledge, I guess.
I'm not sure if that's necessity of knowledge. But okay, anyways, we will be right back. We're going to take a short break. I'm having a chat with Wenanita Angang, Miss World Malaysia 2022. Remember, you could actually watch us live right now at TRAXXfm Official on Facebook. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what she's advocating these days and her thoughts on the importance of education. We'll be right back.
Experience the excitement right here. Right here on TRAXXfm.
W Talk, where we bring inspiring women from all walks of life. Catch us live at RTM Click and also TRAXXfm's official Facebook page every Friday, and be inspired. 11:15 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Only on TRAXXfm, your favorite station.
Experience the excitement right here on TRAXXfm.
Welcome back to Tracks Momentum. This is Diyana, and we are on W Talk speaking to Wenanita Angang, the Miss World Malaysia 2022. Welcome back again. So earlier we were talking about the preparations of the Miss World contest, the experiences you had gone through. In fact, the journey of what you learned and how you learned the different skills to be able to speak up to the world and just represent Malaysia the best way that you could. But for now, we want to dive into in terms of education, because for the benefit of our listeners, Wenanita is actually an advocate of hippotherapy for autistic children. Now, we would like to know, what exactly is hippotherapy? Could you share with us?
Sure. So hippotherapy is basically therapy where the autistic children, would be given the opportunity to work with horses in order to better, for example, their motor skills. Right? So there's a lot of benefits in hippotherapy that is not known to the public of how it can improve, the autism in children. Yeah, so I've seen it firsthand on how it affects the children positively. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't only positively impact the children, but also the parents when they see that it's actually working with the children. Yeah,
definitely. Is this something that you had recently discovered, or have you known about this for so many years? Tell us.
Oh, I wish I did, because it was such a meaningful experience to firsthand watch how these children are with the horses. So it was basically a project that I started knowing that I was going to compete in the national pageant for Miss World Malaysia. So I wouldn't say that I was completely filled with information on, mental health issues, with a lot of health issues in general. So I went to the hospital, to the only mental hospital in Sabah, and I went to the director of the hospital. I made a meeting, I spoke to him, and I told him to explain to me what they did there, what type of programs they had there. So he did graciously informed me of all of the list of programs that they had. And because of a previous experience with autistic children, the minute he mentioned about the hippotherapy program that they had in the hospital, I was immediately attracted to it. And that's when I knew, like in my gut, this is what I want to champion because it's beautiful. And I learned so much through the experience, which is important because, like I said, I want people to be able to relate to me. And so I have to learn first.
For sure. Now, could you share with us a little bit more about this particular project?
Right. So for me, right now, I recently had a discussion with the hospital, with the staff of the hospital, where we now have a concrete program, which will happen every 2 months, where we bring the children to the horse stables and conduct the hippotherapy sessions. So that was the main initiative of the program, to create a sustainable program where we can see the progress of the children, and it's not just a one-time thing, right? And one of the biggest challenge for us previously was to have funding, sustainable funding for the program. But eventually, through hard work and with so much contribution from good people, we are finally able to have a concrete program. And yeah,
it's going to be really exciting, I'm sure.
Very exciting.
Could you tell us, at least for the benefit of our listeners, how we can actually find this project, how we could maybe even help contribute in any way that we could,
So I can tell you right now that we are thinking of expanding the program here in West Malaysia, and so we are trying to figure out also how the general public, regardless of where you are in Malaysia, will be able to contribute to the program. So do stay tuned to my social media. Free promotion here.
Watch this space. Could you share with us your social media account?
My social media, very easy. It's just my name, Wenanita Angang. If you do not know how to spell it, do I have to spell it now?
You can. If you want to. It's up to you.
It's okay. I think you can Google, and it can give you the right spelling, correct spelling. You can actually see my social media when you Google my name as well. So do follow. And soon enough, my team and I will be opening the social media account for the program as well.
Fantastic.
So do stay tuned.
Yeah, watch this space. We are really, really looking forward to seeing what is to come when it comes to this project for autistic children in terms of hippotherapy. Now, I do want to dive in to education, the education side of things, just to pick your brain a little bit. What are your thoughts on the importance of education in this day of age?
Oh, very important, right? Because education, for me, the minute I think about education, I think about stability, right? And stability can also lead to equality in opportunities in the future. So that's why I believe that children, not just children, regardless of your age, continue educating yourself, because it could lead to stability and equality in our society. So an educated society is always better for a brighter future of the whole nation.
Fantastic answer. That is the Miss World answer. That's the answer.
Thank you.
Let's crown you right now. Actually, do you know what? I do want to add on. To that one. I would like to ask you another question in terms of how you constantly keep yourself up to date. Like apart from being the resourceful person that you are, watching YouTube, what other avenues do you pick up on to learn things?
So personally, part of my preparation right now is to read about what is going on with the world, right? So that I can have a more educated answer instead of just giving my own personal opinion. So, like I said, education is important and self-education is important. And there's no better way than just to read up. And like I said, there's so many avenues where you can do that now. It's impossible to find an excuse not to do it.
Yeah, very, very true. And I'm sure you would be the type to read multiple sources as well, simply because you will be interacting with so many people from from so many different places.
Definitely.
Everyone has very different backgrounds, cultures, understanding, to the extent where, even as simple as a language barrier could make a conversation very, very, it could go awry or it could go really, really well. So it is very important that we do that as Malaysians, to continue to educate ourselves, but not just look in one perspective. But thank you so much for sharing that.
No problem.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time.
Oh, no.
That's always really makes me really sad. I'm like with the queen here.
Till next time.
Yes, of course. But I do have one last question. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? And what are your hopes for your future endeavors?
Okay, so I think my final advice, I guess, to all those who are listening is to always believe in yourself and go forward regardless of whatever doubts that you have. Because I think from my conversation with Diyana, how would you like for me to pronounce?
Diyana.
Okay, so I think from the conversation, what struck me the most is an advice to those who are doubting to even join pageantry because of lack of self-confidence, whatever it may be, to just go for it. Because even if you don't hit your target, you may land among the stars. Yeah.
Wow. Very nice advice from the queen.
Yes.
So please listen carefully, okay?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Wenanita. It has been a pleasure having you. And for you who's tuning in right now, you can actually rewatch the Facebook Live session at TRAXXfm Official. But thank you so much, Wenanita. Good luck to everything.
It was a pleasure.
We are rooting for you, my love.
Thank
we are rooting
you.
for you. All the best. But anyways, we got the news coming up at noon, so make sure you stick around for that. I'll be back in the third hour of Trax Momentum. This is Diyana on W Talk. Don't go anywhere.
Experience the excitement right here. Right here on TRAXXfm.